Hi there everyone. Well, I don't know who will catch me live, but I'm running a live stream now. Anyway, I had originally set it for an hour ago and then I put it forward 2 hours, but now, well, an hour earlier than what I thought I would put it. So just waiting to see if anybody does want to join me on this live stream. And here it's Saturday morning, about 11:15. And it would be really lovely to see someone and to say hi to you all. So I see somebody's come on, so hi, good evening. Oh, hi Karen, how are you? Yeah, I've set the time a couple of times. Oh, hi Mike, Mike the caveman, how are you? I'm okay, thanks. And it's 11:15 on Saturday morning here as I go live. So I'm guessing where you are, it may be about 8 p.m, is that correct? Ah, 7:15. Oh, perfect. It's not too late for you guys. Well, that's why I sort of set it this time, to try and catch as many of you. Ah, 4:15 p.m. on Friday, Karen. Well, I had a big filming expedition yesterday and I'm going to have a lot of editing because I've ended up with about 40 to 50 minutes of footage, so I will probably try and cut that down to about 30 minutes if I can. And yesterday I cooked and filmed up a Chinese restaurant dish where you actually silk the meat to tenderize the meat, and it's a bit of a complicated recipe but well worth trying if you can pull it off, and far more delicious and probably far healthier than something that you would get from a takeout restaurant. Oh, thank you, Karen. And yeah, I'd love to see a leftover dish from you. And my Leftovers with Love playlist is open to anybody. Just hashtag Leftovers with Love. And if you don't know how to upload it to the playlist, just let me know that you've made it and I'll add it to the Leftovers with Love playlist. And it would be lovely if we could fill out that playlist and get many people to watch, and so help all of our watch times. And the sort of recipe you could do would be something as complicated or as simple as you like. A leftover roast chicken salad would be perfect, or a chicken or turkey pot pie, whatever you come up with. They're all most welcome on the playlist, and if we can help everybody's watch times, it would be wonderful. Yes, that's so true, Karen. Yeah, if you can get exposed to a lot of different channels. Yes, Mike, perfect chicken soup. Absolutely. So yeah, yesterday it was quite a complicated recipe, but absolutely delicious, and I had a lot of leftovers from that one. But of course, I'll freeze my leftovers, have a meal today from it, because I cooked up too much rice just for one meal. So I packed up some rice and some of my duck into a takeout container, which I'll reheat today, and 2 other big takeout containers full of my duck recipe, which I'll freeze and then defrost and reheat another day. So, do we have anybody else on here? Oh, you've never made duck. Duck is wonderful, but maybe it's the same in the States. It's very expensive usually, so I don't cook it as often as I would like. And I ended up using like a whole duck. I took the meat off the duck and boned it out. But my recipe usually calls for duck breast, but duck breast was so expensive, something like about $20 a pound. So instead of like about $10 a pound for a whole duck. So yeah, I just couldn't do it. Yes, it's not common here either, so it's generally very expensive. Although sometimes they might have a special sale just for like Christmas or something like that, and turkey here is generally quite expensive. And the cheapest that you can find a whole turkey is like about $8 or $9 per kilo, which is about $5 a pound, I guess, and that's Christmas time. But generally turkey is double that price here. The only really cheap meats here generally is pork and chicken. Yeah, I've heard that like your turkey's very cheap. And so this duck recipe, I'm sure it would also work quite well with turkey breast. But yeah, I'm amazed that I've heard how cheap turkey is in your country compared to here. And often like the breast, you can buy like turkey breast here. It's something like about $15 a pound. And turkey drumsticks, which is cheaper, but of course you know how difficult turkey drumsticks are with all the sinews. A lot of work, so you don't really end up getting much meat. And that's often something like about $8 a pound. Yeah, it's cheaper during holidays. It's like ham here is cheaper during holidays. Oh my goodness, 89 cents a pound on sale. We can't even get chicken for that. Oh, hi Wild. Great to see you. I should say good evening, not good morning. It's good morning here, but it's good evening over where you are. And it's lovely to see you come on. And it will be interesting to see who else can come on. I mean, being a Friday night over your way, it can be a bit difficult at times, because I know often other people are running lives as well. Yeah, 99 cents here or $1.99. We are way up north, yeah. So I know that you're in Ontario. How far up north in Ontario are you? Yeah, much love, Wild. And it is quite interesting to look at a map of the States and Canada, just to see where everybody is in relation to everybody else. And yeah, two huge countries. Near North Bay. Yeah, I must look up where exactly North Bay is. I mean, this country is huge too, but most people live up the east coast, like I do, right at the south of the east coast near Melbourne. There's a small patch of a big population, or largest population in the west around Perth. And I think Perth, from memory, might be about 2 million people. So it's not that big. And in the south centre, Adelaide, I think that's about 1 million. Oh, you have a new Shed Wars video introduction out. Yes, I must drop by and catch that video. Everybody's been rather busy with Shed Wars lately with the intro video, so it can take me a bit of time to catch up with everybody. Yeah, I'd happily trade with you. Canada is beautiful. But yeah, I think if you came here, you might be quite disappointed. It's definitely not the country it was 20 years ago. Or 30 years ago, the days of Crocodile Dundee. Well, it's a very different country to when Crocodile Dundee was made. Oh yes, we stick to that story. And Crocodile Dundee, that was made in a time that was, I think even worldwide, was much more free and open and carefree, and it was a far friendlier time. Yes, that was funny. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yeah. But such different times, and I often say, oh, I wish I could go back to the 90s. I mean, I was young in the 90s, so, you know, all party and clubs and all that sort of thing. And sadly, the kids of today, with all these lockdowns and God knows what, are being denied all our rites of passage when we were growing up. And I know some of you who are a little bit older than me lament the 70s and the 80s. But all very different times, more carefree, more open, more fun. So you were saying, Karen, that your parents had been here to Australia twice. Yeah, it's crazy here, but here, even worse, there's not a lot of speaking out. A lot of people here are just sheep. Maybe I should say I should move to Canada. And I mean, so often it's been quoted by various travel websites and the like, oh, Canada, the best country in the world and the most livable city. So that's interesting. And everybody who I've met on my travels from Canada have all been lovely people. Oh, you'd like it warmer. Yeah, well, today's a little bit warmer, I guess. I think it's about 24 degrees C, which I've got to look up what that is in Celsius. Well, it's 75, if you can see that, degrees Celsius. Oh, yes, Canadians, yes, polite for sure. Oh, minus 10 C. And I guess you're probably getting a lot of snow now and your lakes are icing over, so maybe some ice fishing soon, which I would love to try. It sounds such fun. It's not ice fishing. I've never tried it, and it just sounds amazing fun. Oh yes, I will see it in the video, and I must catch that video later today if I can. I've got a lot of videos I've got to catch on my watch later list, and there's some that I've watched overnight and I haven't had a chance to go back and thumbs up or comment yet. Oh yes, at -30, but way too cold. I guess you just layer up. Oh, excuse me. COVID cough. We got to joke about this bloody thing. And yeah, just another round of endless lockdowns and whatever going on once again. And the latest news here is Brisbane is back into lockdown for 3 or 4 days. Oh yes, if there was something that about cooking fresh food in shed walls, yeah, that would be a wonderful, because I'm not in a place where I can really grow my own vegetables or have my own chickens at the moment. I mean, we'd never be, oh yes, how to cook this and how to cook that. Yeah, that would be brilliant. But yeah, we'd never be allowed to have chickens because we rent here and things are a little bit unstable here with the rental. It's like we could be asked to move very soon, so why plant tomatoes or pumpkins or squashes when 1 or 2 months after planting them we'll have to leave. Oh my, yeah. I've got to do something with artichokes. I've never cooked them and I would love to try them. Artichokes are generally very expensive here, and I have heard they're absolutely wonderful, so I must cook them up sometime and research a few different recipes on how to cook them. Oh yes, screen went funny. That happens to all of us at times. I mean, that's the joys of these operating systems. Whether you're using Apple or Android or Windows, they all have their hiccups, I guess you could call it. And actually, like if the car companies made something that crashed as often as our computer systems and electronics, they would be sued out of business very quickly. Oh, the artichoke capital. Oh yeah, Huawei phones and tablets. Yeah, well that could be making things even a little bit worse because they're not sort of getting the Google support now, are they? But for me, yeah, my both phones are Samsung, and my tablet Samsung, my Windows tablet, and my computer is a HP. Well, I've never tried artichokes, so I can't really answer that one, how I like them cooked. I could imagine they'd be wonderful, like fried up in bacon or what have you. Karen, I'm using my phone to stream from, and I have a Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which up till I think about August or September was the best Note phone that you could get. And I got that at the end of August as I really needed a new phone, and I couldn't really justify spending an extra 600, I think it was, dollars to get the top range Note 20. And I mean, this phone itself was a little bit over $1,000, so they're just ridiculously expensive. So, and of course I still have my old phone that's still running, which is like 3 years old, a Samsung S8 Plus, and it's still running, and I've never had any trouble with that phone. I just needed the extra power and better cameras. Yeah, that's an interesting recipe, Karen, on how to cook them, and I'd love to see that recipe, and if you have it up on your playlist, I must look it up. So we've got 4 watches here, so everybody remember to hit the thumbs up on the way in. It says 5 thumbs up, so that doesn't look too bad. We may have nearly got everybody. Oh, awesome, Karen. Yeah, I'd love to see a video on artichokes, and I look forward to seeing it when you do make that video. And if you just wait... Oh, thank you, Wild. If you just wait me a second, and I'll just go and get a takeout container of what I did cook yesterday. Oh yes, so you clean it out first and take off the outer leaves. So yeah, I'll be back and I'll just show you my duck that I cooked yesterday. And of course, with all this talking, I've got to get a drink. But that's okay. So I'll just put that down here for now. So I had 2 of these large containers. They're about a quart each of just my duck recipe left over, and 1 of these with rice, which will be another meal for sure. Oh, and here we go again, planes, trains and automobiles. They don't let up, do they? So can you see that? Yeah, the recipe did make a lot, but I sort of try to do family-sized recipes if I can, because a lot of my people or watchers have more than just 1 or 2 to feed. And showing you this is easily put aside and kept in the fridge for a couple of days, or frozen for up to a month or 2 as a meal. Very quick to cook up, of course, as leftovers. And I always think it's good to have some leftovers because we don't always feel like cooking every time. So I see somebody dropped in and dropped out, so whether their electronics are playing up or whether it's somebody who just randomly clicked on this. But yeah, it's always good to have some leftovers on hand like that that's easily reheated. And now to get a drink with all this yapping, it does give me a bit of a dry mouth. So some sugar-free cola today, and I did have a coffee earlier. I really do love my coffee, and I probably love it too much. The temperature here, before when I looked, it was 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And no doubt it'll get a bit warmer than that. Maybe even into the low 90s. Well, this temperature's okay, but when it starts getting into the 90s, that's when it gets a little bit extreme. I think once it sort of starts getting over 85 to 90, that's too much. Oh golly, those planes are still flying around making a racket. They seem to know when we're filming. So I see we've got 5 viewers, so if there's somebody else new here to say hello, that would be wonderful. Yeah, don't be shy, exactly. And I know a couple of my friends did say, a couple of my YouTube friends did say to me, oh, don't be shy, run a live stream, run a live stream. Oh, yeah, okay, I should, I know. And I'd actually put off running a live stream so long because I didn't have the amount of data, so... But I've got more data now, so I can run these. Yeah, leftover duck is really nice. Mike Caveman Savage. Hi. So, I'm guessing that's probably you, Mike. Wonderful if you can run even another account to help my watch hours. And I much appreciate that. I mean, I have a second account on here. Yeah, I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking before you actually ever run a live stream. Yeah, awesome, Mike. And yeah, I did put it off a long time as well, running a live stream. I mean, it is a bit nerve-wracking. Oh yes, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, I have 2. I mean, I only put videos on this account that you're watching on now, but I have another account that I use to run people's live streams and whatever. Oh yeah, I bet being interviewed for a cooking podcast next Friday and I'm nervous. Yeah, I could understand that. I could be a bit of a nervous wreck too if somebody was going to interview me. I hope this plane is nearly gone. Oh yes, I see. Yeah, you couldn't add videos on the other one. Yeah, yeah, nothing like being in the hot seat for an hour. And I know some people here will run live streams and then they take them down sort of after the live stream, but I've sort of had the courage to keep them up. Yes, you will do really great, Karen. And I believe if you do keep your live streams up, you don't sort of lose watch hours from your live stream, and then of course you can gain some extra watch hours if somebody does run through and watch them through later, or just click on them and watch bits. So it's a bonus just to keep them up, just to help the watch time out. And yeah, I've been a bit slack this last. Oh yes, I understand that. Wild, yeah, cool. It went well, but yeah, I know it can be a bit hard like that. Next Friday on the channel, Mr. Cast Iron. So is that a YouTube channel, Karen? Yeah, I remember seeing there used to be a show, I haven't watched it for years, but on the Food Network, the Cast Iron Chef or something like that. And is that sort of the same thing, or is this just a completely new sort of channel? But yeah, I haven't watched the Food Network for years. I mean, yes, please do link that one. Thank you, Wild. Oh right, that's interesting. He cooks in cast iron, and yeah, that would be absolutely brilliant. I love cast iron. You do see my cast iron pan come out from time to time in my videos. But yeah, if you could link that one, Wild, that would be lovely. Oh, more planes, trains and automobiles. Oh. All we need now is somebody just to start mowing their lawn or something. Which on a Saturday morning is not beyond possibility either. Yeah, or a chainsaw. Or a whippersnipper. Yes, exactly. And all of that is not beyond possibility on a Saturday. So 6 viewers and 6 thumbs up. Thank you all. And I'm not sure who else we've got come on. And it's about 12 minutes to 12, so I may get a couple jump on in another 12 minutes, as I did change my scheduled time to 12 p.m. here. And another thumbs up, thank you, whoever. And don't be shy, please say hi and speak up and introduce yourself. And of course, keeping my cola handy. Totong, hello. Good morning, I should say. Thank you for dropping by. Hello. And I've got to have a drink here or my mouth gets a bit dry with all this yapping. So 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. I've got to work out what times that is because our time difference is so very different. And I think what we're about 14 or something hours ahead. 14 or 16 or 18, a lot of time ahead here, so it's often a bit hard for me to work out like what all your time zones are, and I often have to just look them up to work out what it is. Which can make things difficult to run a live stream just because of the crazy time difference here. Also, you're in the Philippines. You'd be, just at a guess, about 9 or 10 a.m., 9:30, 10:30, something like that, a.m. Because I think the Philippines is about 2 or 3 hours behind here. And yeah, the sun's starting to rise over, so it's making this lighting a bit hard. I'm sitting under the balcony. Oh, hi Jan! Hello! Thank you for coming by. And Jan, quite a cooking expedition yesterday, which I filmed and I'm going to have to edit. I had leftovers, two containers like that of duck, and one container like this with duck and rice. I did a better than takeout or better than Chinese takeout restaurant meal, and I cooked up duck. Don't know if you can see that, Jan, but hopefully you can all see that. And I have about 40 or 50 minutes of video that I've got to try and edit now, and I'll get that up early or mid next week sometime, just depending on how everything goes with my editing. And I do have another 1 or 2 short videos that I've got to do. Oh yes, I understand, Jan, that you can't stay long. 8-hour live stream last night. Oh, and that was the live stream I was able to drop in for a while, and then I had to go to the shops to get a couple of things, and then I had to cook my ducks, so I didn't sort of get back then. And that was the live stream, Jan, with Voonchild and Micro Farmer, is that correct? And trying to think who else was in the live stream. Yeah, it looks like you were having fun. I wish I could have stayed longer, but I just had things that I had to do. Last night for you, it was about midday on Friday for me, so I had to go to the shops to get a couple of things, and then I had to film this duck recipe, so I just had so much on that I had to do. But I'll try and run that one even with my second account to try and help all you guys out with some watch time. And sometimes I run things with my second account and I don't sort of leave a comment. So I'll leave a comment there from my second account, just so that you know that I have dropped by and helped you all out. Yes, thank you, Jan. Yes, I could see that Voon was really so touched, and yeah, it was really great. And, well, you're welcome, Jan. I was happy that I was able to drop by. I mean, sometimes your live streams can be in the middle of the night here for me, so it can take me a while before I even get back to them to run them, just because of the insane time difference. And here we're looking, it's about midday on Saturday, so you know that's the crazy time difference. Oh, we've got Angel up, sitting up on the balcony somewhere, saying hello to everybody. And you saw Angel, my housemate's little doggy, on the last live stream. And she loves to get up on the balcony and just speak out to anybody walking along the walking track of the creek at the bottom of the garden. And she likes to tell everybody who's boss. But yeah, the sun starting to move across a bit more and making this lighting even more crazy. I'll prep for it. Hi there! And if somebody could please run Totong's channel link on the chat, and also prep for its channel link on the chat. And please feel free to drop your channel link, Jan. Or if Jan, if you don't know how to do it, I'm sure that Wild or Mike could also drop it for you as well, the link to your channel. And if there's somebody else here who would like their channel linked in the chat so that anyone can go back later and click on it and give them a watch and a follow, that would be great. Oh yeah, I understand, Jan. So yeah, thank you, Wild. So whose channel did you run the link on there? Totong or was it Jan's? Oh, Hal and Harry on the Prairie. Hi! And if somebody could run Hal and Harry on the Prairie channel link, that would be wonderful. And Simply Jan's channel, if you could run the link for that, that would be great. And did somebody run Karen's channel on a link? And I must, next time I get around to it, because I can't sort of do it from my other phone, I'll have to give you a blue spanner as well, Karen. And I can only sort of do that from this phone that I'm streaming from, and so I sort of can't do it just at the moment. Oh yes, thank you for running the link for Hal and Harry on the Prairies channel. Thank you. So probably a slightly different view of the garden today. I thank you, Wild, for running Karen's channel. So yeah, probably a slightly different view of the garden today because I'm up a bit higher up, sitting under the balcony, just to try and mitigate the sun a bit. Otherwise I'd be in bright sunlight, and oh, that makes filming really quite horrible. Thank you for running that one too, for running Simply Jan's channel. Yeah, I don't know where Walt is. I thought he might have, but he might be busy doing something. And I don't know where Hope for Life is. She might be busy doing something too. Oh yes, excellent, Wild. Yes, you must run your channel link, of course. Did somebody run Prep for its channel for his channel? So 5 minutes. I better put all this food back into the fridge before it gets warm. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Oh, hi Grandma Sandy. Hi there. Yeah, I just went and put my duck that I cooked up yesterday back into the fridge because it's a little bit warm here to keep it out. Yeah, thank you for running Grandma Sandy's channel, Wild. And I don't know what I've missed here. I'll have to have a bit of a quick look on my other device to see if I've missed anything. Ah, yes, well, I'm in the back garden. And good night, Simply Jan. Thank you so much for dropping by. I so appreciate it. And I wish you sweet dreams and a lovely Saturday tomorrow. So, yeah, the light's a bit funny. I'm under a balcony. But, yeah, you could say you could hear traffic in the background. Back further this way, the other side of the house is where the highway goes through, so I could never run a live stream in my front garden because it's just too noisy here and the traffic would just drive us mad. But back here, well, you can hear people walking along the walking track the other side of the creek, and you can hear the odd bird. There's a turtle dove somewhere, he's singing or making his song. But this is the back garden here, Grandma Sandy. So you can hear a few birds if we're lucky, and not just the traffic noise. And the traffic here can get quite noisy. Good night, Jan. Yes, thank you, Mike. Caveman. Yeah, not too noisy. Yeah, well, if I was in the front garden, it would be just impossible, the amount of noise. And further back, there's the creek, and there's a walking track on the other side of the creek, which a lot of people walk up and down. And I can hear a crow in the background here sometimes. 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, yeah. Well, no French hens here, but there is the turtle doves. And sometimes you see the ever known, ever loved pigeon. Bye bye, Dotong, thank you. And lots of seagulls. And seagull is one bird that I do really dislike because they get rather aggressive and greedy, and yeah, they're not I'm not a great fan of seagulls. And I don't hear many people that do think much of seagulls, to tell you the truth. Rats with wings, somebody told me, is what they're called. And yeah, I think I'd sort of go with that too. They are rats with wings. So, do we have anybody else here who would like to say hi or ask me a question? Oh yes, they're terrible. You're so true. That's so true, Karen. Yeah, they're so aggressive here that they will actually steal food out of people's hands. Yes, that's one thing they are good at, aren't they, Mike? Yes. And the worst thing is that here, some people have actually thrown food to them and fed them, and so that's made them more and more and more aggressive. It's not, it's different to like feeding the doves or feeding the honey eaters around or whatever other bird. The seagulls just, once they've been fed by people, they lose all fear and they lose all respect, and they expect it, and if they don't get it, they'll just go and take it. Yeah. And I think there might be some doves fluttering around in the background here. Don't think I can zoom out onto them. So what time is it over there now, Karen and Wild? I guess it's starting to get a bit late. But yeah, sometime a bit later on today, I'll probably do another short film. 7 p.m. in Missouri and 5:15 where you are, 8:12 Ontario. So Karen, you are in California, is that right? On the west coast? I think from memory, California. Oh, near San Francisco. And I think Grandma Sandy is also in California. And I know Shasta Valley, who often does come by on my live streams, he's also in California. So yeah, I guess for some of you it's dark. Oh, Grandma Sandy lives about 5 hours, so Grandma Sandy, would she be Los Angeles area? I've sort of got to try and get all my geography right. Oh yes, near Los Angeles. So Los Angeles, right down the bottom of California. San Francisco, would that be about the middle? And I know Shasta Valley, he's right in the north of California. Yeah, 5:15 and getting dark, yeah. That's pretty much when it gets dark here in our winter. Yeah, it's an interesting place, yeah. I've only ever been to LA in California, like about 25 years ago, so it's all probably very different now. But yeah, it's interesting, like how different your country is from side to side and top to bottom. It's a huge country. And Canada too is huge. What number? Canada number 2 in area in the world? Yeah. Yeah, Canada is huge. Yeah, I travel a lot for my job, but not lately. Yeah, I travel, it's a bit difficult these days. Yeah, I bet. Oh, hi there, Tom. East Grand Woodsman. Could somebody please run Tom's channel? But yeah, it's lovely to see you, Tom. And Tom is in northern Maine, I believe. So East Coast, right up the top of the East Coast of the USA. Yeah, hi, Tom. Oh, Dustin, hi. And thank you so much for your coffee the other day, Dustin. And could somebody please run Dustin's channel, Bushcraft Tools? And speaking of Dustin and Bushcraft Tools, yesterday I had a cook up and I cooked some duck. I think you did see my photo in Instagram, Dustin, that I put up as a tribute to you and Hope for Life for buying me a coffee. So, and I'll have that video up next week sometime. I've got about 40 or 50 minutes of footage, and I mean, that's just, yeah, that's cool, Dustin. Yeah, I bet it's getting late there where you are, so I've got to try to edit that down to about 30 minutes if I can, because yeah, I'm not going to put up a 40 or 50 minute video, because that will just take up so much data, and most people aren't going to watch that long anyway. Yeah, thumbs up, Dustin. And more planes, trains, and automobiles. It's a bit of an ongoing around here. There's always somebody flying overhead. The planes like that have only just started, but it's been started up again within the last month or so. Other than that, it was just all helicopters. But even now, I never see a commercial jet, you know, like a Air United or whatever jet anymore. I haven't seen one of those since early last year. Oh, a salmon recipe, Karen. That sounds interesting. I must look at this to see. Oh yes, that was Tom saying that, yeah, must check out Karen's recipe. Yeah, Karen has some wonderful recipes on her channel, Tom. And well worth watching and checking out. Yeah, I must have a look at that, Karen. It's probably It probably went up just as I was running this live stream or just before, so I haven't sort of looked on my announcements yet, what everybody's put up. So later when I look, I'll have to stick it on my watch later list that it'll get a run tonight. And often when I'm out and about and an alert comes up, I can't watch something at the time, so I'll just click it onto my watch later list and then I'll catch it that night. But of course sometimes I'm a bit slow on commenting when I run the videos at night, because I fall asleep and then I might run it 2 or 3 times before I get around to thumbs upping and commenting. Yes, so true, Karen. Yeah, some healthier recipes just to, I guess, cleanse the body a bit after all the Christmas and New Year goodies, yeah. And often we're looking for something a little bit lighter, just to try and get all that out of the system, with probably just the odd luxurious, delicious, heavy recipe just to, you know, keep things interesting. But like, you know, even my duck recipe was quite time consuming and of course delicious, but an awful lot of fresh vegetables in that one. Oh yeah, 3 big pork shoulders, yeah. Well, it's always good to have pork shoulders on hand. Yeah, chicken soup tomorrow, yeah, that sounds good, Wild. Well, yeah, if you make a dish, if it's got protein and veggies, yeah, well, generally it should be healthy, shouldn't it? And it should be interesting. And I don't know, Tom, if you've got a... Oh yes, you have hundreds of videos on your cookie playlist from other channels, not you, yeah. And yeah, I don't know, Tom, if you did see my recipe that I did the other day for leftover, with the leftover roast. That was actually a leftover boned out pork shoulder, and I stir fried that with some Asian sauces. And of course the Asian sauces, what I used, work really well, but it's not set in stone. It depends on what you can sort of get hold of. And those vacuum packed pre-cooked noodles, and I always like to have a few of those vacuum packed pre-cooked noodles in my pantry because they're quick and easy to cook, and I'll buy a lot of them when they're on special. And you can often get them on special for about $1.50 for a pound of those vacuum packed pre-cooked noodles, so that's not too bad for $1.50. Oh yes, that's so true, Hal and Harry. Yes, 14 pork shoulders. Yes, I've seen all your pigs roaming around your pasture. Oh yeah, excellent, Tom, thank you. But yeah, it's always good to... And pork here is one of the cheaper meats that you can buy, so I always like to have quite a few roasts of pork shoulders on hand. And Generally, I prefer the pork shoulder over the back leg, which sounds funny, I guess, but I think pork shoulder cooks up better than the ham, than the back leg, in my opinion. Yeah, I know, it's hard. I'd love to have a pig here, but yeah, we just cannot in this city. We'd never be allowed. And I know the odd person here does have a few chickens, but they're not allowed to have a rooster. Oh yes, for sure. And you'd probably have a few neighbours that would happily donate their kitchen scraps to feed a pig. Oh yeah, that's a really good buy there, Tom. Pork shoulder blade, $1 a pound. Now that's really, really cheap. The cheapest that we can buy pork shoulder here is $4 a pound. Oh yes, you have the rabbits because the chicken's not allowed, yeah. And it seems like you can have quail. I think people here, they can have like, it's probably a very limited number, like up to about 3 or 4 chickens. But of course no rooster. Or you could get wiener pig for $50 in the spring. Well, yeah, that's amazing. And I missed this, I'm just looking. Oh, why is meat so expensive here, Karen? Well, everything is expensive here. And I think it's because this is such a huge country in area with a very small population. Oh, pot-bellied pig, yeah. And, you know, it's so far from everywhere or almost everywhere else in the world. Very strict quarantine laws. And I think that's what makes everything so expensive here. Oh yeah, that sounds wonderful, Tom, yeah. Yeah, to have your pork shoulder simmering on the wood stove in a cast iron. Yeah, that sounds absolutely delicious. Yeah, with so much land. Yeah, but this country, a lot of it is desert. And really, the only thing that is cheap here is flour and wheat, because they grow a lot of wheat, you know, in the dry semi-desert land. And that's about the only thing that's relatively cheap here. And sugar, well, sugar is cheap worldwide. But everything else, very expensive. But this country, a lot of it is desert and it's not really suited for growing. Like there's a lot of livestock, but the carrying capacity, well, very spread out. You can't sort of run a lot of livestock in a small area of land. And good land here is very, very expensive. I believe good farmland here nowadays, you're looking at about $4,000 or $5,000 per acre for good farmland. And of course, if it's nearer to the cities, it's even more expensive. And land here, it's off the scale. I believe this house where we're renting, it would be about half an acre or so land size. But the quoted price for the house, when I looked it up on realestate.com, it was close to $1 million. And it's certainly not the house, because the house is old and almost falling down. It's the land value that this house is on. But it's a very, Hal and Harry, it's a very, very, very expensive country. Almost up there with the price of living in the United Kingdom or in Europe. Oh, that's interesting about that breed prep for it. But I think the big problem here with chickens, or what the councils see as the problem, is the roosters. So people could often maybe have a couple of chickens but have no rooster, or also like, you know, the manure, or, you know, the smell of them. Yeah. Yeah, pot-belly pig so that you can have it as a pet, yeah. Yeah, it does. When you hear how everybody else in the world has it, Hal and Harry, yeah, it does make you appreciate. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like Thanksgiving, when you had all these different rules saying, oh, you couldn't gather well, and you could have more people for a funeral. So of course for Thanksgiving you all had a funeral for your pet turkey. Yeah. It's just, you know, this last year has been ridiculous, and the way things are looking, sad to say, this year is going to be just as ridiculous, or maybe even worse. The politicians, they've got it into their head that they can get away with all this shit, excuse the French, and they're not going to let up, and they're not going to stop. Yeah, quarter an acre, wild, yeah. Well, you really utilise that area really well. Yeah, it seems to be the same everywhere, Karen, sadly. And, you know, these people that are our rulers, they're a waste of oxygen, basically. Yeah, government, yeah, I've said the same thing for a long time, Mike. You've basically got what I'd call parasites and the dregs of society in charge of everything, and it's sad. If we had real people in charge of things, people who've lived in the real world, worked a 9-to-5 job, or had a small business, had a farm, those sorts of people, instead of all these bloody attorneys and God knows what, who haven't really lived in the real world, things would be so much better. And lifelong politicians, oh my God. There definitely should be term limits. I don't know what everyone else thinks on that, but you know, I think 15 or 20 years as a politician, and that should be the absolute limit. Let it be people who've worked real jobs, in the salt mines, on the coalface, on the farm, so to speak. you know, real people that know real life. Yeah, that's true, Tom. Yeah, Karen, you know, have real people. Somebody who's been a housewife, somebody who's raised a family, somebody who's had a farm, had a small business, worked a 9 to 5 or whatever. People who've had to struggle and battle in life just to get through would be so much better. Oh yeah, there is a big mess coming, I know, Tom, but I think the mess is worldwide. And what we're seeing in your country, Tom, is just a symptom of what's happened everywhere else, all around the world. Yeah, the swamp, yes. Well, the swamp is bloody deep in this country, I tell you what. The whole bloody lot is the swamp here. And I don't know if I can really say it, but the leader of this country is what I call a Chino, a bit like your rhinos. Conservative in name only. He's deep state. And all the 4 main parties here are all deep state, all oxygen thieves, I guess you could say. But we shouldn't really talk about those characters too much. And we probably should talk of something a bit nicer than that lot. But everything that we've seen, yeah, it is just so depressing. Yeah, you're right, Karen. And it's sad, really. I mean, the ordinary, everyday person, yeah, they tend to piss me off too, Hal and Harry. But the everyday person has got no say at all. Yeah, who knows what to do, yes. But sadly, it's worldwide. You know, all these people running the show, they're all oxygen thieves. They're all a waste of space. Okay, 5 minutes. I've got to go for a bathroom break. Yeah, that's sad, Tom, yeah. Yeah, the cave. I'll just go take my bathroom break, 5 minutes, and I shall return. Yeah, goodness me, all these planes flying around today. Oh, they're driving me around the... So, what did I miss? Oh yes, Tom, how to live in the woods comfortably. Yeah, so true. And yeah, that's true, Tom. Everybody does need to become more self-sufficient. And oh, nice to hear about your fish house that you got built or completed finally, Tom. But everybody does have to become more self-sufficient. Yeah, that's true, Wild. Yeah, you do have a great knowledge of all the different wild things that can be eaten. Sorry about that racket. Yeah, so you live in earthquake country, Karen. Yes, well, of course, yeah, in California, that's true. And there's not a lot of earthquakes here, but the big danger in this country is wildfire, which every summer seems to, yeah. Yeah, well, that's interesting, Tom, about salmon. Yeah, I love salmon, but I think a lot of it's to do with knowing how to cook it. And actually, if you can smoke it, smoked salmon is really quite good. Yeah, so somebody's got a new dehydrator. Oh yes, Karen, it was just crazy last summer, and it'll probably happen again this summer in about a month's time. And a lot of the problem here is that I think they've moved away from the proper forest management, like what the native people originally did do. And the native people, they'd often burn parts of the land in the winter time or whatever, when it was safe, just to reduce all the dead and dry fuel. And I believe the native people in the United States and Canada probably practiced some very similar forest management as well. And so many of these bleeding heart greenies 20 or 30 years ago stopped all this forest management from happening, and now we're all reaping the reward. And Tom, I know you could probably tell me something about the forest management or lack of forest management that's gone on in the last 30 years that's really affected your country and your state. And it's probably like altered the deer numbers and wildlife numbers as well, because the forests just don't get properly managed. So you're about finished with your new fish house, Tom? Putting the door on? But, you know, these bleeding heart greedies, instead of real conservationists who happen to be hunters and people who work out in the forests and live out in the forests, that's been the big problem here. And I think that's why our fires every summer have been so disastrous, because the proper forest management just doesn't happen anymore. So anybody some more questions for me, or got some more comments or whatever to add? Oh yes, Hal and Harry, yeah. And Missouri, they have controlled burns every year. Well, that would help to keep things in check. And yeah, that would sort of lessen your danger of wildfires in the winter. Oh, in the summer, I mean. And if there was more controlled burns here, we probably wouldn't be having the problems like we did the last summer. And I've got a couple of talking about preserving food. Every time I buy like bread and butter cucumbers, I always save the brine. And then when I've got some extra cucumbers or something I want to pickle, I'll add that one to... Oh, yeah, they're burning a lot. I'll add that one to my jar and I'll preserve some more pickles or whatever. I don't sort of like to throw food away if it's any good. Waste not, want not. Oh yes, to brine your chicken in pickle juice. Well, that's interesting. It's never really been done much here to brine chicken in pickle juice. More just like salt water or even buttermilk is the big trend here. Yeah, if you don't have pip cuts, you don't have food for the deer, moose, partridge or anything. Yeah, your old growth forests, it just cuts out all the light and nothing grows in the understory. Yeah, I can understand that one, Tom. It's really quite logical and sensible if you actually think about it. But of course these tree huggers and other vermin, they don't sort of think of that. Chain themselves to a tree and save a tree that probably has passed his usefulness and probably should be thinned out. Oh, chick filler, yes, I've heard of chick filler and everybody says chick filler is so good. and has taken over from KFC of having good fast food chicken. And let's face it, KFC here in this country, it's not very nice and not very good, and actually I can make far better fried chicken myself. Tom, what's next on my cooking list? Well, I have a video to edit. I cooked a Chinese Mongolian style duck, and I did that yesterday. And no cheese in my Chinese duck, but yeah, it's KFC's really gone downhill here too. But yeah, I'll get that video up of my duck sometime in the next week. I only filmed that one yesterday, and I've got like 40 or 50 minutes of film footage, so I've got a lot of editing to do. And of course, when I'm filming, I don't sort of film the whole lot either, so it is an awful lot to deal with at the moment, and I want to cut that down to about 30 minutes if I can. And yeah, I'll put that back in my fridge, I'm afraid, that duck. Otherwise I'd show you. Yeah, KFC's gone downhill. I don't know if you can see that photo, but that's the leftovers of the duck that I had. I've got a lot of leftovers from that, and that one, it's a better than Chinese takeout restaurant duck, I guess you could say. A lot of vegetables. Quite a complicated recipe though, so I don't know who will all give that one a try, but it's well worth doing if you do have the time to cook that one. But of course, you know, once I get the video up, I will have the full recipe included, as I always do, and I will show all the steps. But basically, before I even cooked the duck, I mixed up some egg whites, bicarb soda and cornstarch, and used that to tenderize the meat, or silk the meat, for an hour or 2 hours before I even fried the meat. And that's actually the secret that Chinese restaurants use. You know, like if you get Mongolian beef or whatever, the Chinese stir-fried beef, it's always so tender. That's actually the secret that they use to tenderize their meat. So if you watch that video, you can see actually what Chinese takeout restaurants do to tenderize their meat. Oh yes, you just learnt last year about silking the meat, yeah. And another little trick I do, which you will see in the video, and some people might be horrified, other people will laugh, is how I add the Chinese cooking wine to such a sizzling hot pan and flame it off. And that always adds a slight different flavour if you can flame off the alcohol. I like to do it. I prefer the flavour if I do flame off the alcohol. And it's a little bit of fun as well, lighting a fire in the kitchen, in the pan. Yeah, sounds funny, I know. But so often when I'm cooking with alcohol or liqueurs, I will flame off the alcohol. But yeah, silking. Yeah, you love cheese. Yeah, I must do another cheese recipe too again soon while. But yeah, silking, or some people call it velveting the meat, does really make a difference. Oh, excuse me. COVID cough. Joking only about that. But yeah, I must do another cheese recipe sometime, and yeah, when I think of what I want to do. Vinegar apple cider, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, to help break it down. Well, that's another method to use an acid to help tenderize the meat. And often, like, you're marinating meat in wine or whatever is the same sort of thing. Yeah, I'll often cook with alcohol. Oh goodness me, somebody out on the road, they've got a new toy for Christmas. What did Santa bring you? Oh yes, you love leftovers, Tom. Yeah, well, they're too good to throw away, and you know, we should respect our food and reuse our leftovers. But yeah, often I do cook. Oh, thank you, Educational Live tonight. Thank you, Hal and Harry. But yeah, so often I will cook with alcohol, but when I'm cooking with alcohol, I always flame it off just to burn off the alcohol. Yeah, apple cider vinegar. Yeah, it's a great product. And I'm trying to think who it was, had a video on how to make your own apple cider vinegar, because apple cider vinegar here is so expensive. So if you could make it yourself, that would really save some money. Oh, boiled pickled eggs. Yes, I must do that sometime, Tom. I love pickled eggs. Oh, hi, Timber Hill. Thank you so much for dropping by. I'm okay, thanks. But yeah, pickled eggs is wonderful, Tom. You're right, and I should do some pickled eggs sometime. I forgot about that, and I do need to do a video on pickled eggs. But yeah, today later on, if I can get around to it, I should actually film, because I've got some cucumbers in the fridge that really need to be dealt with. So I'll put them into pickling juice and pickle them up, because I love pickled cucumber. I love pickled vegetables in general. I think they're wonderful. So yeah. But yeah, the pickled eggs, yes, I must do a video. I love pickled eggs too. Oh yes, put the boiled eggs and the juice left over from Oh yes, I'm not familiar with those sausages. Are they like pickled sausages? They're in a pickled brine or something. But I'll always reuse, like, I love the bread and butter pickled cucumbers, and I keep the brine out of those and I reuse that. And I may have to make a bit of my own vinegar brine, and you know, just to have enough brine, but I always reuse it. But the eggs are good, yeah, I bet they are. I bet. Oh, and pickled beet juice. Yeah, that's interesting, Karen. Yeah, a lot of people do buy and eat pickled beet here. I do sometimes, but it's rather messy and stains everything, so I don't really have pickled beet probably as often as I should. But yeah, I could imagine eggs going into the pickled beet juice would be really quite delicious. Or even a mixture of your normal pickling brine with a little bit of the red pickled beet juice, just to colour it. Oh, Micro Farmer, hi! Thank you for dropping by. And these questions do flash up here pretty quick, so I've got to have a look at this just to see what I missed. Oh, well, that's interesting, Tom. East Grand's Woodsman, that they put the pickled juice on the turnpike ahead of ice storms. Yeah, I didn't know that. I just thought it would freeze, you know, like water does. But would that be the salt that they use in the pickled juice that would stop the freezing? Or would that be something that comes out of the beet? Pickled shrimp, pickled prawn. I have done that before with crawfish, actually. Pickled crawfish. And, oh, absolutely brilliant and delicious. But, of course, you need to cook or boil your crawfish well first before you pickle it. And you probably also want to heat treat your jars. Once you've got your pickled shrimp in the brine, in the jars, you probably want to, like, pressure can them first, just, you know, to make sure that they get up to a high enough temperature that they remain safe to eat. Yeah, I love pickled shrimp, and pickled eel is another thing that's absolutely delicious. And, oh yeah, pickled zucchini or cucumber. Yes, that is delicious. I haven't pickled eel for many, many years because I just can't get it here. But basically what I would do is I would first grill the eel, and grill it really well that you render all the fat out of the eel. Of course, having enough salt on your eel as well. But I would grill it just to render out all the fat first before I put it in the pickled brine. And then, of course, you know, in my vinegar, pickle brine, vinegar, salt, sugar, whatever to your taste. Oh, hi, Lisa. Happy Lisa and Beasley, hi. But then, you know, basically, I would then put my grilled eel into a jar and cover well with the pickling juice. and I would actually boil the jars, you know, in a pressure canner or a large pot or something like that, and bring it up to temperature as well, just to make sure, you know, to kill all the bacteria or what have you, to make sure it's safe. Yeah, I must someday do that one time. I must tick it up on my to-do list, videos to make list. Pickling eggs, yes. Maybe next time when I get a lot of eggs cheap, when somebody has a sale, because eggs have been a little bit expensive here. And of course, those of you lucky enough to have chickens, and probably not so much this time of year for you guys, they're not really on the lay when they're molting, and cold weather, short days, etc. It's, yeah, a great opportunity if you've got a lot of spare eggs to pickle eggs. And I'll ask everybody, give me a couple of minutes. I see my battery is getting low, and so I've better go and get my power bank and plug that in. No, I wouldn't say it's hot, Lisa, but it's not cold either. I'll have a look. Oh, at the moment, 79 degrees. Oh, hi there, Walt. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I better go and grab my power bank. My phone, from running a live stream for the last 2 hours, it's getting a bit low bat. So I better go and get my power bank and plug that one in. Oh yes, it is a little bit, Walt, but yeah, I'll soon fix that up with the power bank. I hope I've got some juice in the power bank. Did I put it on the charger the other day or didn't I? Well, there's a little in here. Oh, 3 bars, that should be enough to keep us going for a little while. But yeah, this is quite a big power bank. Don't know if you can see what size it is, but yeah, it hopefully will keep us going for a little amount of time. And I must remember to juice juice this power bank up again once I'm done. But yeah, a power bank is one of my most useful things that I keep on hand for when I'm filming. And often when I'm filming a cooking video, if it's a longish video, it's good to have the power bank just nearby, just to boost it up. Yeah, that's interesting, Tom. But yeah, a power bank and a good tripod is two of the most essential things for running live streams and filming videos. And I've got a Manfrotto tripod, and I actually picked that one up in a pawn shop. And the way things are these days, things are so expensive brand new, but sometimes you can get some very useful and interesting things from the pawn shops. And my power bank too, I actually got that from a pawn shop. Yeah, the Manfrotto cost me like about $50. And that power bank I showed you, which I think would recharge this phone about six or 10 times. I got that also from a pawn shop, and that was about $40. And that's about $150 power bank. So yeah, good tripods, Manfrottos. Those suckers are expensive new. And so yeah, I always do look at things from pawn shops. Yeah, for a tripod for cooking stuff, yeah. I use this Manfrotto tripod for when I'm filming cooking as well. I mean, I just set the size, of course, where I want it. And this one, I think the minimum is about 12 inches or something like that, but it will extend out to about 5 foot high. Yeah, I had a very small, I used to use a very small tripod that I just got from Wish or something, and it wasn't much good. It wasn't high enough, so I actually had to put it on like a vase to get it up high enough. Yeah, the camera frog, yeah, I've seen those. I might get one of those as well. But I've sort of found this tripod so far to do everything that I wanted to. Oh, so you got to go, Karen. Bye. Good night, Karen. Thank you for dropping by. But yeah, the camera frog, is that the thing that twists around and you can put it up in a tree or something? Yeah, yeah. They're handy, yeah, well that's good. I did see in one of the pawn shops, and I'm thinking of getting it. I don't know if anybody would recommend for or against. I actually saw, I think it's a Sony Action Cam, and I don't know if anybody knows about those. And it apparently is capable of filming in 4K. So I don't know if anybody could tell me for the pros and the cons, for and against, for that one. Yeah, that's good to know, Walt. Yeah, I just wondered about the Sony Action Cam, if it's really good. I'll have to look it up, Walt, and I'll look it up and I'll send you the link or the picture. It was either in a pawn shop or it was on like Gumtree, which is a bit like Craigslist. Also, it's below freezing, Tom, 28 degrees. But yeah, I'll get those details, Walt, and I'll send it through to you on Messenger, and you can tell me what you think of it. Because sometimes, like, especially for my outdoor videos, when I'm going for a hike in the woods or a walk around the woods or down to a beach, with the Boss stabilization, well, yeah, interesting. I would find an action cam to be so useful for those jobs. And of course to free up my phone then for using it as a phone, or maybe even running a live stream from the action cam could be useful. And then, you know, just Bluetoothing it or hotspotting it or whatever you do with my phone. Yeah, I'll look this up a bit later today and get the model info. I hope it's still up. Oh no, Walt, this time of day? Good heavens, no. I must see, what is the time here? Okay, it's about quarter past 1. Saturday afternoon. No, just this one, Walter. Yeah, far too early for wine, I think. And I should really film a pickle video too, so yeah, I'll keep away from the wine for now. Oh yes, that's soda pop, yeah. And I probably drink too much soda pop at times. And probably drink too much coffee at times too. Yeah, yeah. Exactly, Walt, yeah. Yeah, while talking about, did you see my post on the duck on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, that I cooked yesterday? Well, I ended up bringing out the Sapporo to have with that, so we're going to have another review on Sapporo beer. But yeah, the Sapporo beer, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I rank that beer 9 out of 10, and I mean, if I'm ranking a beer, it's 9 out of 10. It is really, really, really good. Oh yeah, mine just, yeah, my spelling sucks at times too, and hell, I taught English and language in Thailand, so I think all our spelling sucks. But also you can blame the touchpad if you're commenting from the phone. Or blame the keyboard too. I mean, it's easy enough to do it with a computer keyboard at times. You sort of do and not really looking at what letters you're pushing. So autocorrect. Autocorrect or auto stuff up, yeah. Autocorrectors. Interesting. Yeah, Tom, you're right. Oh shit. and that's the wind blowing and has pulled or blown my power bank off of my stand because I just sat it on there. So that's my fault. So hopefully I can get, oh, we're still at an angle. Oh, how are we looking now? Have I got everything straightened up? Oh, good. Yeah, what happened? I just had this power bank leaning on the stand or leaning on my tripod, and the wind blew and knocked it off. And of course the cord is not really quite long enough that it could sit on the ground. So it pulled everything off. Yeah, good old wind for you. And I hope I haven't broken something here. Everything stopped charging. Oh, we've got it back on and it's charging in. Good. I didn't, yeah, I was hoping I didn't break the little, you know, USB pin thingy. I mean, I don't, yeah, turn off autocorrect, yeah. Oh, with your accent, Tom. Yeah, well, it doesn't work very, autocorrect doesn't work very well for my accent either, to tell you the truth. COVID cough. Not really. And yeah, I should be 6 feet back from the screen, yeah. Yeah, no problem, Walt. Yeah. We'll see you back in a couple of minutes. They tell me I dropped my owls. Would that be owls or would that be ours, Tom? Autocorrect, I know. Oh, drop your R's, yeah. And, well, you know what, Tom? A lot of people here drop their R's also. You know, like the Australian pronunciation of water. They say water. Crazy. So a lot of people here drop the R's, so that probably messes up the autocorrect. But yeah, you know, like here, people say water. And, you know, I generally will say water. Oh, Walty says wetter. Would that be wetter? Or would it be like people here say wetter? yeah, from the East Coast and I'm from the southern Midwest. So yeah, I guess, yeah, that's interesting, Lisa. But you know, the funny thing is, when I first came here to this country 5 years ago, everybody here would say about my accent being so foreign. So Lisa, you say water, is that right? Water? Yeah. Well, that's cool. So yeah, last night another cooking film filmed, and sometime I've got to edit that. Oh yeah, sometimes when you've been learning and the public is, yeah, that's fair enough, Tom. I could understand that. And I think a lot of people with these hard lockdowns have probably been the same. Locked in their house for 1, 2 or 3 months. Very little public interaction. Yeah, Hal and Harry. Oh, brisket, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, I must get some brisket again and do another brisket cooker. It had been very cheap here, but it had got very expensive recently. Oh, well, actually, I think more people would bust up on my accent, I think. Yeah, home since March. Yeah, it's not good for people, Tom. You're right. I mean, human beings do need, at least on our own terms, do need some social interactions with other people. And I think, you know, a forced lockdown's not good. Oh, he talks funny. LOL, yeah. But yeah, maybe everybody says the same thing about my accent too. So you're probably not alone, Walt. So do we have any more questions? And it's nice to see that we've got 14 thumbs up, so that's nice to see. Oh, really, Walt? So where you're living now, Walt, is quite a different area to where you actually originally came from or grew up. Oh, I see, yeah. Can tell that you're not from Arkansas, yeah. Or Arkansas. Arkansas, isn't it? But yeah, interesting. Oh, you sound great, Walt. Yeah, I love listening to Walt when Walt's running a video. Walt's voice, it's so soothing and relaxing. And yeah, I love Walt's voice on the video. What do I put in the pickling brine? Generally when I'm making a pickling brine, it'll be vinegar, water, salt, sugar, and then whatever spices I want to add. You know, generally will be like some black pepper, maybe some mustard seeds. But yeah, basically whatever spice or herb I want to mix to my pickling mixture. Oh, that's one thing I always scratch my head at. So many of you guys, you know, I see on your videos when you're talking of herbs, you say herbs. And that sounds quite strange to me that you always drop the H. Has anybody else noticed that some people in, you know, your countries drop the H, or especially for words such as herbs, for example? Yeah, I bet, Walt, yeah. But yeah, hearing herbs all the time makes me sit up. Yeah, herbs, yes, Lisa. Yeah. Whereas, yeah, I don't drop the H and always say herbs. Yeah, I don't know, Walt. I've never heard you talking about herbs, so I don't know about that. I've never heard you drop the H from Harry when you're talking about Harry and Harriet, your two little helpers or gobbleguts. I've never heard you call him Harry. You always call him Harry, so yeah, I haven't heard you drop the H on that one. And I always have a bit of a giggle when I see Harry come out, and also, yeah, the British pronunciation, herbs with, well, that's another funny thing. And H or AH, yeah, I say AH. But yeah, some people in Britain also drop the H. Yeah, I must go back to that one. I missed that one, so I had it in Youngstown, Ohio. Thought you were from South Carolina. I used to say herbs, but everyone corrected me saying herbs was correct. Yeah, well, I think that might be regional too. Um, because yeah, I hear some people in Oh, so you've got to go, Tom. Bye. Thank you for dropping by, Tom. I have heard some people from the US and some people from Canada also will say herbs and not drop the H, so it's probably a very regional accent, I'd say. Some drop the H and some don't, just depending on where you grew up and where you come from. Night night, Tom. But I think that might be just the case. It's a regional thing. And yeah, I always find it funny when someone says NH. Hi, Grandma Sandy. Oh, thank you. And yes, nice to see you, Grandma Sandy. Yeah, I just dropped out and dropped back in. I wonder if Livestream just hits a bit of a limit and it sort of has to reset and reconnect. Yeah, well, I say banana, but most people here say banana. It's bananas. And I also say tomato, but most people here say tomato. And yet they say potato. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But we can all have a giggle at that. Oh yes, I'm okay. Thank you, Grandma Sandy. And I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Grandma Sandy.
For coming on.
I appreciate you so much.
Oh yeah, I better not get any feedback. And yeah, well, thank you. I'm so glad that you could connect. And yeah, it is weird, isn't it? So Hal and Harry, you say banana. And yeah, it's Saturday afternoon here. And the temperature, I don't know if you can see that. We're just on 80 degrees. So yeah, no snowballs here. So yeah, hi to anybody else who's come on. Yes, I love banana pudding also. Yes, I must do a film on that too. You keep giving me ideas. Oh, I see Wild. Wild, inside joke with you and Wild. Yeah, yep. Cool. Yeah, I was wondering about the snowballs because just flashed up on the screen. I didn't sort of see the whole context. Oh, nanas, yeah, I've seen that too. Or people here will say nanas. Nanas. But yeah, some interesting names for different things. Oh, and what always gets me is people here calling chickens chooks. What's a bloody chook? Crazy. But yeah, I just say chickens or hens or fowls or what have you. And you know, there's some very, very, very interesting slang around this place and expressions. Yeah, I missed that one. So, oh yeah, you can't believe that it's 80 there. You don't think it's more than 70 where you are, Grandma Sandy? Well, yeah, 80 here, but then down here it's summer, so that's why, you know, we'll have like 80 or what have you. Because it is summer here. Oh, no, choc. Choc, isn't that like short for chocolate, or like a wooden thing you put to stop your car wheel from rolling, or something like that? Oh, and now we have a helicopter. Walt, can you tell me what that helicopter is? No, it's a helicopter, Walt, yeah. I think you know my answer, Walt. What is in that? Yes, pigs in the sky, yes. Pigs in space, yes. That's the chopper. Them bloody pigs again, yep. Oh yeah, well we gotta laugh at all that sort of thing, Walt. And Mike, yes, we gotta laugh at that, otherwise we'd cry or go crazy, so... Yeah, we might as well make a joke about the pigs in space. Yeah, they would actually look for that here. Yeah. You know, they're more likely to look for that, or people protesting, or people gathering in large numbers. They're probably doing, and that's about where they were flying. They're flying along the beach, making sure that people aren't gathered in more than groups of like 2 or 3. Oh, wild turkeys. Look at those thunder chickens. Yeah, well, that sounds interesting. I mean, I've never seen wild turkeys in the wild, or, you know, only on video, so it's all very interesting to me. Yeah, Grandma Sandy, in the summertime, it gets about 105. Yeah, well, it can get to that here also, Grandma Sandy. 105, yeah. And it's even got, I think one day last year, it got to 110. But yeah, it can get very, very, very hot here, and too hot. Yeah, I bet they're impressive to see in the wild, Hal and Harry. And yeah, so much of your wildlife is impressive to see in the wild. Oh yeah, 115. Well, I think it can get to that here too. And yeah, but that's crazy. That's crazy weather. But yeah, I think anything over 100 is crazy for sure. And well, really, I don't really like it when it's getting over 90, to tell you the truth. And especially here, 90, because the sun, it's so burning intense in this place. And everywhere else in the world that I've travelled, I've never seen the sun like it is here. Yeah, don't care for it over 80, yeah. You know, like the sun here in summer, you can walk outside and get sunburnt within 10 minutes. Is it humid? It can be humid here, but generally it's a burning heat, and the sun really burns like a blast furnace here. And no matter if it's dry or if it's humid, the sun in the summer, it just burns. Yeah, minus 10°C in your area today, Wild. Yeah, I bet Grandma Sandy. You've seen wild turkeys in the wild, and it's really great. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the other night, and I wasn't quick enough with the camera. There was a possum walking, and the possum had a baby possum on her back, walking along the fence, and yeah, I missed that. By the time I went back inside and got the camera, the possum was gone. And one of our neighbours' dogs was barking, so I went out, just what is this dog barking at? Yeah, it would have been a really great video. And yeah, I got back outside with the camera, and of course very dark, so I couldn't see where the possum had got to, but the possum was gone. So I missed that one, and it would have been a really, really, really brilliant video. And that one would have been a good short, actually. But of course, if I took a short, I'll take it like landscape. Yeah, loads of possums, yeah, but you'd never seen one with the baby on the back. Yeah, well, you don't generally see the possum here with the baby on the back either. But this time, I happened to see the one with the baby on the back. Grandma Sandy, so that question for me, where I live exactly, I'm at Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Excuse me, COVID cough. 6 feet back from the screen. Oh, living in an inferno, Grandma Sandy. Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds interesting. Eight or 10? Oh my goodness, that is a lot. Oh yes, wild edibles. Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are better now. Yeah. Yeah. Grandma Sandy, this would be about my 4th or 5th live. I ran about 3 in one day, and the first time I did a live was Christmas Day here, and I ran a live also on New Year's Eve, and one more since New Year. So I haven't done many lives, Grandma Sandy. I think this might be my fifth live, but of course the 3rd occasion, because the first time I did it, I couldn't sort of work out the screen settings on how to do it. It was doing it, you know, I was on the side when I was doing it. Because I do my live stream using my phone and directly to YouTube. I'm not using Streamlabs or what have you. It's just direct on the YouTube app on my phone. Yeah, I don't know if it's any harder but then the thing is, Walt, my phone or... Oh, it stopped running again. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there, Grandma Sandy. The thing is, I can do it straight from my phone because I have over 1,000 followers, so YouTube allows me to run a live stream directly from the phone, directly from their app. Yeah, still here, Grandma Sandy. Yep. And I don't think it buffered for anybody else, did it? Yeah, my son needs... Oh yeah, I had terrible trouble with my PC for the last 2 weeks, and thanks Hal and Harry. I ended up with my PC setting up resetting Windows. Yeah. Yeah, to go live while you're out and about, yeah. But yeah, I ended up resetting Windows. I put this AVG antivirus on my computer, and I also clicked and signed up for their safe website thingy or whatever, and that setting was not allowing me to even run YouTube properly or TubeBuddy. I'd watch 1 or 2 videos and then it would bump me off, and I'd have a big message on the browser. Oh, this site is unsafe. And I mean, it was on the YouTube. Yeah, I know, Walt. It was directly on the YouTube web page, you know, running Flash and that, as you do on your Chrome browser. And then there'd be a message. It wouldn't allow it to run. Oh, and then click down below on the link, proceed to unsafe site anyway. And you know, I could not uninstall that program or reset it to letting it go on. Yeah, I thought AVG was fairly good too, but this AVG safe website browsing thingy, it was like a blasted virus itself. Wouldn't allow me to watch. And I mean, let's face it, if YouTube is a dangerous... Yeah, I couldn't turn it off. I'd turn it off and it would still do this stupid bloody message where it would block just your normal everyday YouTube videos and TubeBuddy from working. And I mean, you know, if this YouTube is a dangerous website, unsecure, up-to-date, security certificates, they all are, you know what I mean? But yeah, I reset Windows and basically like blanking installed apps, but kept all my files and what have you, just to get rid of it. And now, of course, my my YouTube and my website or whatever is running so much faster with getting all this off. So I'm not sure if I'll be putting the AVG back on. I might just go with the default Windows firewall and Defender and goodness knows what, I think. And yet I've had AVG on phones, no problem. So yeah, it's all just crazy. Maybe the AVG just didn't like my computer, which my computer's running Windows 8 or 8.1 or whatever it is. Maybe it just didn't like that and really wanted to run on like a computer, Windows 10 or what have you. But I'm not going to update this computer to Windows 10 because I'm not sure if I could even find all the drivers and whatnot. And while it's working, I'm probably better off just keeping it on the Windows 8, what is the original running system on that computer. I don't know if you can answer me that, Walt, if you're still there. Yeah, hated Windows 10 at first. And yet that little tablet that I have, that runs Windows. Oh yeah, that's cool, Walt. That runs Windows 10 and it came with Windows 10. What I was asking and what I said, Walt, was I was just querying if AVG just didn't, yeah, AVG just didn't like Windows 8 and really to work properly expected me to upgrade to Windows 10 on my computer. But I'm not going to put my computer onto Windows 10. I think it's best just to leave it on 8, the original operating system that came with it. What's your opinion on that, Walt? Yeah, and you know what? So often I open the menu on that and even turned off all the junk, and yet the junk was not turned off. Yeah. And you know, the funny thing is, before I did this hard or semi-hard reset, I didn't have Wi-Fi on my computer, and so I was using a Wi-Fi dongle to get Wi-Fi, and after I did the reset, I've got Wi-Fi and I've not had to reinstall the dongle. It's running Wi-Fi from the computer's original Wi-Fi. And that might be why my Wi-Fi is faster, not having to rely on a USB dongle. Yeah, crazy odd. But then I did buy this computer second-hand, Walt, and it seemed like they'd done a hard reset or, you know, a wipe or everything when I bought it. But I wonder if they just run like some delete service through and didn't actually do a Windows reset, and so some corrupted Windows settings were stuffing up with my settings, if you know what I mean. Because I just assumed, because everything was blank and was start again, that it was just, yeah, driver conflicts. It was just, you know, blanked, but not blanked using a Windows reset. And so all, you know, all the old Windows settings must have been still there. And of course, me doing a hard reset but keeping my files had, you know, resolved all those driver conflicts and set everything back to default. Would that be it, Walt? What's your opinion? I mean, you know a lot more about the computers than what I do. Yeah, I think the shop where I bought it didn't actually do a Windows reset. I'm thinking that they probably just blanked everything off it without doing a Windows reset, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I did like the Windows reset about 2 or 3 days ago, and took me bloody hours waiting for it. But ever since I've done that, it's been running so much better. Yeah, it does take a long time for it to do that. And it's sort of funny because, you know, it's not really that big. I mean, what, the hard drive, 500 giga or what have you. And, you know, like if you do a full reset on your phone, it literally takes like about 20 minutes at most, and that's, you know, 128 gig or 260 gig or whatever a phone, and takes, you know, 10 or at most 20 minutes, and computer taking like about 4 hours. But then of course I guess, yeah, these phones are all flash drive, whereas the computers have got like your old style hard drive, so that might be why it does do that. Yeah, if I go into control panel and settings, and then, yeah, I must check that, well, since I did that reset, just to see if it does show any of those exclamations. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. But yeah, you know, like everything is working properly now, so maybe the reset, you know, just set it back to the default settings and allowing the drivers to work as they should. Yeah, give me 2 or 3 minutes. I've got to. My throat's getting very dry. I've got to get some more of something to drink. My bottle is empty. And yeah, I did come out. It wasn't a full bottle. It probably was about a third of a bottle when I came out. So I must go and get, because yeah, I do all this yapping and my drink, my throat gets very dry. Yeah, you feel like a technician now. Yeah. Oh yeah, the one that popped up. Super. Oh, was that to me, Walt, or somebody else? Super anti-spyware. Yeah, you must, oh, I see, you were telling Wild, yeah, yeah. I haven't, until the last, I guess, year, I hadn't really done much on PCs since way back in the days of Windows Vista. And, you know, basically, you're talking about 10 years of hardly touching a computer. And before then, I was on PC or computer all the time. And the last 10 years, it's been mostly playing around with these things. So, yeah, I know a lot. I know a lot now about Android phones, or particularly the Samsung and Android phones, but not much about PC. Yeah, you hate phones, yeah. And I'd always sort of had smartphones. Like for a long time I was using, you know, the Windows phone, remember that? With the PC as well. We're talking about early 2000s. I had Windows phone, as well as using, you know, your Windows XP and what have you. And when, you know, when Windows phone, and we're talking about the original Windows phone, not this thing, Windows Phone 8 or whatever. We're talking about the original. And I was using Windows Phone when Apple came on the scene, and I never went with iPhone or Apple. And then I got the first, because I needed a new phone, I got the first Samsung S, and so I'd been on Android since then. And I always refused to use iPhone because, like everybody was saying, oh, iPhone's not any good unless you jailbreak the phone. You're just too locked into Apple and iPhone, and you can't sort of put on your own apps or whatever. And so, yeah, I was never a fan of Apple or Macintosh computers either, because so many of the good programs never worked on Macintosh or were clunky, and yet everything worked on Windows, everything worked on PC, so I never went with Apple or Macintosh. Yeah, well, everybody says Macintoshes or Macs are very user-friendly, but the big problem is that you can't get anything, or you can't get the programs that you really want to work on it, because, you know, they're all originally made for Windows or PC. So yeah, I never went with Apple, and iPhone, well, you know, they can stick it. Oh, hi there, Mike. You still here? Nice to see. And now hearing what Apple are trying to do by blocking certain apps just because they don't agree with the app's politics or free use or what have you. Well, I'm glad I'm not with Apple, because at least with Android, you know, install apps from other sites, or you know, you're not just locked. Yeah, that's interesting, Wild. But yeah, you're not just locked to Google Play. You can get your apps from, you know, your own phone's app store, from Samsung apps, or well, you're with Huawei, so you can get your apps from them, or you could even download the apps from a website if they're not on the manufacturer's app store, which is very, very interesting that, you know, at least you can get apps from elsewhere and you're not locked into Google Play. And the sun's starting to move. You can feel me rubbing my shoulder. I think I'm going to get burnt, so yeah, thank you, Hal and Harry. Good night and take care. Yeah, it is kind of neat. But yeah, I'm probably going to bail on this live stream very soon, because yeah, the sun's moving and it's starting to burn my back, so I'm going to have to drop out soon too. Because yeah, sunburn in this place is not much fun. Yeah, you don't want to watch me cook that way. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to cook that way either, Wild. Yeah, thank you, Wild. Yeah. Have a lovely night too, you and Mike. And thank you so much for dropping by and watching. And if I get round to it, I might just do this pickling. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, bye-bye, Mike. Thank you so much too for dropping by. Oh, Shasta Valley, hi there. Yeah, today, now it's afternoon, Travis. It's about 2 p.m. or something or other like that. What is the time? 2:15 in Saturday afternoon. Yeah. Yeah, 7:15 p.m. there. Yeah. And Walt at 9:15 p.m. So yeah, I'm going to have to drop out very soon, because this sun, I'm under the balcony and this sun is moving across and it's starting to burn my back and my shoulders. Yeah, 10 way past your bedtime, yeah. Thank you so much, Wild. And we did have Dustin drop by earlier, but I think he had to go to sleep. Dustin from Bushcraft Tools, and it's probably midnight or something like that, or later in England. So yeah, Dustin had to go and get some sleep. And if somebody could quickly run Travis's channel up here before we all go. And then later, if somebody's watching, they can always click on Travis's channel and give his videos a watch and his channel a follow. Oh yeah, you're most welcome, Travis. Most welcome. And it is starting to get a little bit hot out here where I am as well. I must see if I can have a look at what the temperature is. Oh, we're at 81 degrees, so yeah, it is starting to warm up a little bit. Feels like 82. So it's probably getting about time just to leave off before it gets too hot here. Oh, thank you for running that one, Wild. And yeah, as you said before, Wild, you probably don't want to see me cook this way. So yeah, I'll end this live stream, and I'll thank everybody who did drop by and watch. It's really so much appreciated, and so nice to have a chat to you all and to hear about how things are all your way. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Wild. Have a good one too. So until next time, bye bye.